Mic check. I just picked up a new microphone, so new mic. Who's this? How you doing? I owe Dustin Poirier an apology on this one. Now, normally I tend to pick the younger, hungrier guy, especially when the older fighters reach in that 35, 36 range in age. Because you got to understand, that's old for a fighter. Like, not for life. It's like, you ever see that movie Knocked Up where they're trying to get into the club and the bouncer says you're just too old for this club, not for life. Yeah, that's how I feel about sometimes the UFC fighters when a fighter reaches a certain age, where it's just like, you know, for every, I think the best quote was from a jiu-jitsu black belt, Kurt Osiander, when he was talking about Nick Diaz and he was talking about his 5-year suspension. Every year off of a fighter's life is like a dog year because it's a young man's sport and your body's not going to hold up forever. That's why they got masters divisions in jiu-jitsu. You got to be with people who are who have your speed and mobility, you know, and once you get older, things don't work as well as they do. I'm going to start feeling it in about 5 or so years. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just saying I'm not going to be this young forever. This is the youngest I'm going to be, and I'm only going to get older. Father Time has an undefeated record. So when I saw a guy like Benoit just tear through people, I was thinking this guy's going to make or break Dustin right now. Because obviously, you got a lot of honest criticisms about Dustin Poirier. He's only taking older fighters. His biggest triumph was against Conor McGregor, which it was, you know, to win the trilogy after a devastating loss like that in his younger years. Let's be real. That was the Diamond's triumph moment. Speaking of Conor, it's like every time Dustin now steps into the octagon, you could tell Conor's watching that so he can make a post on Twitter if Dustin loses because Conor's bitter about that, but he's busy wasting Michael Chandler's time and acting in Roadhouse. I really think I would honestly just have more respect for Conor if he fought Michael Chandler now and just took the L, then sit behind and just kind of like act like he's this mastermind, I guess. Because it's sad when you see what Conor McGregor used to be versus who he is today. But now you could say that Dustin is not picking his fights based on age group, which is a huge criticism. Because look at his fights. You know, obviously after the Conor trilogy, he fought Charles Oliveira, fell short. He fought Michael Chandler. And then he came back in a Justin Gaethje rematch, and Gaethje got the upper hand this time. And it was a little sad. You know, I was devastated. That's a relapse. I think, honestly, what would be the best thing for Dustin now instead of an Islam fight would be a Gaethje trilogy just to kind of cap everything off. Because even though he won this fight, I still, you know, would like to see him retire with a good record on himself than stick around too long like Tony did and just be this non-ranked fighter for like newcomers to just beat up, which is just really sad. But yeah. Benoit has got some time to go back to the drawing board and see what he did wrong. Now, obviously, he's going to be back, and he's going to pace himself a little bit more. Because watching that fight, Benoit did have the superior grappling by far. It was just a 1-2 punch that really changed the trajectory and got Benoit to get finished really fast. I felt like had he not landed that combo, we would be seeing a different story, and then Conor would be making a large post talking to Dustin in a very condescending tone. But, yeah. I don't know. What's next for Dustin Poirier? Because he really is one of the greatest fighters to never win a belt. And although he's supposed to be fighting Islam Makhachev for the title next, I don't know why. I think that's not good. I think Islam should probably face some other young, hungry guys at 155. Because he could do it. He could smash through Arman Sarukian. He's still got unfinished business with Oliveira. He's beaten Oliveira like nothing. He shut down Volk in that rematch. But a lot of his defenses have come down to 145ers now because it's just Volkanovski and Volkanovski. I like to see him face down some people at 155, like legit 155ers, before he moves up to 170 to face Leon for a two division title fight. Because there's always this thing where people like defend the belt once or twice and then they move up a weight class to just... It's the thing about the double champ. There's never really been anybody who solidified their championship status except for Volkanovski, who then moved up a weight class to challenge for another title. So they were ready. But I really don't think that Dustin Poirier would be the winner on an Islam fight. Just because although, Benoit was young and hungry, he's not seasoned. Islam is still younger and way more seasoned. I really think if it was in Dustin Poirier's better interest, I'm not saying to just quit right now or just, it's obviously his choice. But if I were in his shoes, I'd say, okay, I proved the doubters wrong by taking on the deadliest guy for me in the division. The young dude who wants to take my spot in the rankings. I think honestly it would be good for him to do a Gaethje trilogy and then tag out. Get that win back, win the BMF belt, and then vacate it. Or if Holloway somehow miraculously beats Gaethje, maybe just, fight Gaethje for the marketability of it. Because honestly, that's what the BMF belt is marketability. But, yeah, Dustin is definitely going to have some options on the table now. A lot of people who had a lot of doubt on him, including myself, are now saying, okay, don't be so hard on him. He had 2 seconds to turn the fight around, and that's what it was. But Dustin the Diamond Poirier, man, one of the best in the game to ever do it. And if he is not in the UFC Hall of Fame by a specific point in time, like maybe 2029 or something like that, yeah, there's going to be some issues. But, yeah, that's my spiel. Peace out. I will see y'all later.